took the Evo out for getting a haircut and ended up dying on me on the way back. It seems to be the alternator, so currently getting towed. What is going on, guys? It's Joel coming back to you here with a quick update on the Evo. So I was driving it yesterday. I went and got a haircut, and then I was running a little funny on the way there, and my brake light and battery light came on. So thinking that I'll get back to it when I get back home, I went and got my haircut, started up, and it was running real rough. And so then I went down the road probably 150 yards, and it shut off on me. So from what I've seen, basically that means the alternator needs replaced. So I'm gonna show you guys as to how about going to replacing the alternator in here. So it's tucked all the way back down in here. I don't know if you guys can see it in there, but yeah, so it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to get to, but yeah, I'll be showing you guys how to replace that. There's a few different ways. Some people go from the top here. Another way I've seen to pull it out is taking off the wheel and then pulling out the CV axle, and then you're able to pull it out the bottom. I'm thinking that may be my best bet, just so that I'm not worrying about moving around the engine and everything. So yeah, I'm gonna show you guys how to go about doing that. Alright, so as you guys can see here, you gotta take the 2 bolts out of the bottom of the strut there, and then I have to also take the cotter pin out of the CV axle and take the nut off, and then I'll be able to get in there and pull it out. You can actually see the alternator up in there, and so then basically the tension release for the serpentine belt is right there. You just put the end of your breaker bar or ratchet in there and relieve the tension, so you can get in there and pull out the alternator and not have to worry about the belt. So we'll get to that. Alright, so now you can see I've got the CV axle disconnected. I just need to disconnect it from the other side there. So we'll do that real quick. Hey guys, it's currently the next morning. Yesterday I'd gotten pulled away from working on the Evo, so I'm going to be finishing up with it today, hopefully finishing up at least, I should say. I'll be taking the alternator off and then seeing if the auto parts store near me has one for the Evo. And if it's a decent price. I looked up last night on how much an alternator was from Map Performance, and it was $900 and something for an OEM remanufactured one. So eBay definitely had a lot cheaper prices. If I have to go an online route, I'll go with eBay instead. I like getting all my parts from Map, but I'm not paying $950 or $60 for an alternator. So yeah, we'll continue with pulling it out and we'll see. Alright guys, so after a lot of time and effort, I ended up destroying my CV axle. So I cut off the boot and then pulled off the boot, and then I was finally able to get the actual CV axle. Now, what I was using was a slide hammer, but yeah, finally got it off. So now I'm gonna have to get a new CV axle as well, but now I can actually, when I unhook the alternator and undo the belt, then I can actually pull it out. I loosened the tension on the belt. Basically, just throw your wrench in there and then give it some pressure and it'll loosen up. So now I've got the belt off the pulley down here. And now it is time to get up there and unbolt the alternator. Here's where I'm currently at. So I got the bottom nut off of the alternator, but this top nut here, it's being a little bit of a pain. So I'm either gonna have to bang on a smaller socket because it got stripped, or I'm gonna have to cut off the head because the screw is screwed into the alternator. So if it came to it and I had to cut off the head, then I'd be good with doing that, because then I won't be causing any issues with the bracket. I decided to give it one more try with my vice grips, because I tried that before and it wasn't working out too well, and finally got it. So a lot of PB blaster and a lot of work with the vice grips, and finally got that top bolt off. So now all I gotta do, I've got the bottom nut already loosened up and all the electrical connection off. And so now it's just a matter of fully taking off the nut and the bolt, and I should be able to pull it right out the bottom. Alright, so as I said, I disconnected the harness in there. I took off the ground there. Let's take this nut back off. Make sure not to lose my lock washer and washer. Alright. So should be good to pull off now. After trying to finagle it around the downpipe here, still haven't been able to get it out. So I'm gonna have to unbolt the downpipe, which those are pretty rusty, so that'll probably be a little bit of a pain to get. And then I also will be taking off my test pipe, because actually at the connection from the downpipe to the test pipe, the ears got drawn in, so it bent it, so it doesn't get a firm seal on it, even with the gasket. So I eventually needed to take the downpipe and test pipe off anyways, and kind of sand down so that they get nice and even, so I can get a nice seal. So that's what I'll be doing next, is taking the downpipe and the test pipe off, and then I'll be able to get the alternator out of here. Of course, ends up being more than what initially thought, but I mean, then I'll just knock out two birds with one stone. After all that, here's the alternator. Took a little bit more than expected to get it all out, but yeah, I can get some other things knocked out, like I said. The flanges between the downpipe and the test pipe are a little uneven, so it's creating an air gap and causing issues. So I'm gonna get those sanded down and end up getting that fixed. So yeah, once I get those sanded down, obviously I gotta wait to put them back on so I can get the new alternator in. I gotta go source an alternator from local auto parts store, see what their price is. All right, so it looks like the surfaces are a lot more flat than what they were. So I'm gonna call that good. Hopefully that gets rid of any air escaping between the two. And then obviously we'll have the gasket in there, so hopefully any slack that is left off between those with a gap, that gasket will end up filling in. So yeah, we got that all done. Now we're just going to be waiting on parts for the alternator and the CV axle.